So we went from our club being run as a childcare, just kids all over the place, just doing, I don't know, random things, not actually playing football because they don't understand, right? Now we've gone from that to a nursing home. So now we're just like a retirement village. Cobham is now like a retirement village because in the last 24 hours or so, we have been linked with Granit Xhaka, a 33-year-old good midfielder. And now we are also linked with Pep Chavaria, if I'm pronouncing his name right. 20-year-old, 28-year-old left back. Apparently, he's supposed to come and replace Cucurella. Who knew? But listen, I have to say, I like it. I would rather being run as a nursing home than a childcare. Bring me all the old good players out there than these young and upcoming 16, 15-year-old. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with what Chelsea are trying to do. Now, will they actually do it? Because they did the same thing last summer with Mike Mannion. We saw, us getting linked with him, and we were very happy because, he's a good goalkeeper and experienced, better than Robert Sanchez in every angle. So we wanted him. Guess what? Chelsea never actually gone and actually get him. Now I understand sometimes deals don't always get closed, or deals don't always go your way. So sometimes you might have to pull out, or sometimes you might have to, I don't know. That's business, right? But that particular one was not business. That particular one was just greedy. Like, how can you not want to pay Mike Mannion? I think it was like £8 million or something, or like £16 million. A club like Chelsea. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, age plays a big part. Same with Granit Xhaka. We've bidded him for £8 million. Again, I understand I'm not stupid, or maybe I am a little bit, but I do understand that age plays a big part whenever you do these valuations and whatever. I get that because how much more can he play football? So, and you don't want to take a risk on a 33-year-old. It might be injuries, might just be quality gone down because you're getting older. In terms of like actually being running around and play football and actually do some crazy tackles, or just the confidence. There's a lot of risk you're taking by going to get a 33-year-old, and I get that, but £8 million, god day, like £8 million is almost like, I don't. Anyway, all I'm saying is a club like Chelsea should, or where we are right now, and the players that we need, Granit Xhaka would suit us. Whether we are going to challenge, compete for top four, I don't understand. I don't know. We'll see when the season starts. However, you cannot tell me that of all the players out there you could go and get who have experience playing in the Premier League, who have experience playing at the highest level, because Granit Xhaka won the Bundesliga with Xavi Alonso. He went on to play for Sunderland. Sunderland's not a big club, but what they did and achieved in that season, finishing above us, that was playing in Europe as well. That's something that you have to give it to those players or the coach, whatever, the club. They did well. And then don't forget, he played for Arsenal as well. So you're taking all this experience. You want to pay £8 million? Nah. Make it 10. Make it like 12. I'm sure. Make it like 12. Because I think maybe the reason why they don't want to splash too much money is because they know Granit Xhaka actually wants to come to our club. So he will push on his side. He will push to want to exit, right? But at the same time, Sunderland are nowhere near any of the hurry to sell. They don't have to sell. They're playing in Europe. If anything, they need Granit Xhaka more than we do because they're playing in Europe. And again, Granit Xhaka has played at the highest level. He understands Europe better than probably the other caliber of players that might want to play for Sunderland. So I get that. They took their risk and it's paying. But at the same time, it's like they don't want to sell him, but if the player doesn't want to stay, maybe there's a small window that they might change their mind. This shit happens. Newcastle did the same thing with Isak. They didn't want to sell last season, and then Liverpool kept coming, and Isak went on a strike, and they ended up selling Caicedo. The same thing he did. Brighton didn't want to sell, and Caicedo went on a strike, and we bought him. So you have to, But then at the same time, you look at Chelsea. You can't blame them for bidding £8 million because look at every other 38 plus odds that have been signed in the Premier League. I think the most expensive was what? Casemiro, maybe Casemiro, but was he 30 already, or like was he 29? I can't. No, not. Hey, he was 30. I'm saying 33 plus. Ronaldo was not 33 plus, but he was over 30. And I think they paid about 16, 17 million pounds. So Chelsea are not far off. They're not far off the valuation that might not seem crazy, but £8 million, make it double figure. They might listen to you. But hey, we have to see, because Chelsea do this thing where we get linked with these players that they know the fan base wants, but not end up signing them. So then it's like meaningless. So we will celebrate more when the deal is done. And by the way, to the people that are saying, why are Chelsea celebrating for getting Granit Xhaka? I told you, it's not so much about Granit Xhaka, and he's a good player, but it's not so much about him. It's more so that we are changing our ways. Because for the past, 5 years, all we saw during transfer period was just like 16-year-olds, 20-year-olds, to the top. If you actually want to give them some sort of grace, you'd go maybe Pedro Neto, who was 25 at the time, or maybe Tosin, but he was on free as well. We don't tend to, or this regime don't seem to sign players under the age of what? No, so they do seem to sign players under the age of 24 on an average. And some are even 18-year-olds like Esteval. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but you also need experience within the team. So when I see my team getting linked to players like Granit Xhaka, it makes me happy because I know like we are changing certain things. We were always going to sign 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, because that's the big part of our model. But what the fans were crying for was, to sort of like adjust and try and find that balance where even in a team, especially your first team, you wanted to have a bit of experience, and you also wanted to have a bit of those young stars as well, who are energetic and sometimes reckless. Oh, sorry, because sometimes you do need that recklessness from players. Players that just do some crazy shit. But then on a bigger picture, you want players who are experienced, players who have played at the highest level, players who knows what it's like to play for a club like Chelsea, players who have played in different competitions and actually won things. So now when I see us getting linked with Lacroix and even this guy, which we're going to talk about, not for much, but Rayo Vallecano's 28-year-old left back, Pep Chavaria, when you see he's 28 years old, and then Lacroix, I think, is like 26, and then obviously Xhaka is 33, and we just signed a 21-year-old. So there's a balance there, and we as Chelsea fans, that's what we've been crying for. You can go ahead and sign your 12-year-olds, whatever, but please give us a bit of experience, and that's why Chelsea are happy. It's not so much about Granit Xhaka, even though we still want him because he's a good player, and he played for under Xavi Alonso as well. So it's like a balance of like celebrating that we're changing our ways, and also just wants Granit Xhaka, because again of what he can bring to Chelsea. Now this guy from Rayo Vallecano, I don't know him. I'm not gonna say anything more than just commenting on his age, because I did watch some highlights, but those were just highlights. Everyone, I'm pretty sure, even Garnacho, you can find good highlights for Garnacho as well. So highlights are not so much, what you should base your analysis on, because even me, I can have good highlights. And today with AI, you just never know. So your analysis has to be based on actually watching a player play a game, right? Because you won't get your analysis good. Then I'll come here and I'll just be lying to you. So yeah, we will definitely do the analysis later, and we'll analyze the ins and outs of what type of player he is. If he's a player that's a ball-playing footballer, I don't know, we'll do the analysis later, not right now. But yeah, I'm just happy that we're linked with people that are over the age of 25. like I said, I would rather us being run as a nursing home than us being run as a child center. So yeah. Um hopefully the next video will be a here we go. But yeah, let's just go back and just keep praying that maybe the Lord might might help us to get to where we belong. But yeah, talk to you guys later. Peace.